Oh, I need to invite people. Oh, by the way, in math again, it's 18, not 17. So we're in pretty good shape for the next 3 months. I forgot Nolan. I'm doing it, trying to do it off the top of my head, and I missed one. Seth, Bud.
Matt and Tim, good morning, everybody.
What in the hell is going on here?
Morning, Raiders. Oh, sure, Adam. It's raw meat to a sports talk show. Brad and Steve.
What is going on? Why are you not working this morning, computer?
So apparently Fox, airing the Carolina-Jacksonville opener, showed aerial shots of Jacksonville with the landings. The landings got torn down in 2019.
Oh, I was like I said, there's no more landings. What do you?
No,
that's why you
right.
saw my face turn. Like, what are you talking?
Yeah. Right. So.
All right, we got to try this.
I don't know, Tim. I don't know.
I can't get a show tweet out because I can't get my computer to work this morning. I'll do it here eventually.
Jay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day. I say we get over it together, shall we? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Another nice show lined up for you. Seth Everett, Bud Elliott to join us during the proceedings. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great, David. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm rested compared to yesterday. And, that's always good. By the way, 2.5 hour flight, Chicago to Jacksonville. Yeah. Woke up when they tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Would you like some beverage and some cookies?" I went, inhaled a ginger ale and 2 cookies, right back to sleep until the plane landed.
They actually woke you up. Did you get bumped to the front of the bus?
I wasn't at the front of the bus.
Well, that's because usually if you're in first class, they'll kind of, hey, we want to feed you. You paid more for this. Don't lose out. Usually in coach, they let you sleep.
Yeah, I was on the aisle. Okay. And then for some reason, I kind of, it's kind of like, when you're used to waking up at a certain time and your body, all of a sudden the sleep gets lighter and you're starting like, is it time for me to get up? Okay. I've got this sense now on planes. It's kind of like, wait a minute. All right. I think they're near me. I think the cart's near me. Okay. So all of a sudden my sleep got just a little lighter.
Fair enough.
The cart made contact with my knee, not super painful, but just enough. Right. So, yeah. Oh, I slept. It felt good. I slept a flight.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's a great nap. Nothing like changing time zones and geography by a pretty good distance and doing it all while you're sleeping.
Yep. Person next to me said they were jealous. Said I would love to sleep on planes. I can't. I said I could sleep on the floor on this plane.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And, so you had a great day. I had a pretty good night. Twofold. It ended well. I had to pick the daughter up and I had to go see a client beforehand, Jimmy the Beef guy. And every time I'm there, I buy my own lunch. Yesterday, for whatever reason, says, "What do you want?" I got it. And I ordered the same thing I always get. He's, no. Can I do something different for you?
Sure,
okay. Jimmy. Okay. So I had a breaded steak. It was absolutely phenomenal. And then, went home, did my thing. The daughter's soccer practice got canceled, so we grabbed a bite to eat together, which was nice. And I knew when I came home that I would be able to watch my Tigers. They were on regular cable television, if you will, last night.
Right.
They were playing the Yankees. And who cares about the game and my Tigers? And you don't care. I don't care. Why I bring it up is that you and I have a mutual friend who's a gigantic Bills fan. You're a better friend to him than I, but he unloads on you via text messages when things aren't going well for his team, particularly when it's past January.
Yes, the yearly Bills playoff demise series of texts are amazing. All right. And they start during the game. So it is glorious. I end up enjoying the game. I have to turn Nance and Romo's commentary down just so I can read the texts out loud and laugh and enjoy them.
So to that point, I'm watching Tigers Yankees, and an innocent play happens in a 2-2 game. Yankees got a couple runners on. I wouldn't say innocent, but it's a 2-0 count. It's an up and in pitch. And for whatever reason, the Yankees batter attempts to bunt said pitch. Not a good pitch to bunt, up and in. I don't know about you, David, but to me, that's not a good pitch to bunt. And he pops it to the third baseman. And I poked the bear. I merely text my buddy, who you know as well, but in this case, he and I are much closer friends than you and he are. So I shoot him a text and said, I'm rooting for the Tigers, but how the hell do you bunt that pitch?
Uh-oh.
And so it started.
Oh, boy.
And he kind of, guys slumping, blah, 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 blah. Well, the next inning, the Tigers get like 17 players to the plate. The Yankees can't get anyone out. Pitchers are throwing it all over the damn place. And he starts.
Yeah, here we go.
And I mean, I've got to tell you, the Tigers winning was great. His text messages in, I believe, what was a 9-run inning were amazing. And every time, you only have to send a word or two. You don't need to respond at that point with full sentences.
Right.
You need to let the other person know, however, that you're engaged.
Yes,
because if you don't let them know that you're engaged, they may quit. And you're enjoying this too much for them to quit.
It's just funny because we have a mutual friend. I'm closer to him than you, also a Yankee fan. And it is during moments like that in which all of a sudden the texting begins. And I go, oh, he's watching his Yankees again,
Yep.
isn't he? Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I
Yep.
get it. I get it. It's the time of year. Here we are in the crunch in baseball, just a few weeks left in the season. You've already seen your football team play, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, and have formed an opinion on them. So I get it. And we love, David and I have done this for nearly 20 years. It's the angst of the fan that fuels all sports and certainly fuels this business that we're in.
And I don't know which sport it fuels the most. I mean, that could almost be a poll question, but that's thinking a little deeper than we usually want you to think for a poll question. Okay. Which fans' angst drives which sport the most? Okay. Certain sections of the country, you could say in the South, it's college football and what have you, but I don't know about nationally. That's a tough one. I'm working on a poll question. It's formulating in my mind. I thought I had it, and now I lost it. Hoping to get it back. Can I try this one out for a poll question?
Yeah, I mean, just here for what it's worth, in the future, the 5 minutes we spend before the show talking are usually when you work these things out. But, you like to produce on air, so let it rip.
Well, we were having, I thought, a really nice personal conversation during those 5 minutes. I didn't want to interrupt it with
the show. Right. Why? Why bother?
We're doing the show. Okay. Listen, Miami and South Florida are playing at 4:30. Note the start time, 4:30 Saturday afternoon on the CW. Is it too snarky to ask, have you ever watched anything on the CW or a sporting event? We can narrow it down to just sports. Have you ever watched a sporting event on the CW? All right.
They had a game on last week that I think I watched.
Well, okay.
I mean, that was the first time. And I will say, David, I could be wrong, and you guys locally here in Southwest Florida can correct me. But it was either, and I guess I was DirecTV last, because I've had I've had Xfinity, I've had DirecTV, now I'm YouTube TV. I can't keep track. But one of them, and I thought it was Xfinity, didn't have the CW. So when like Live Golf went to the CW, I couldn't watch it. When I made the move to YouTube TV, I get the CW.
Okay. So yes, I think the first 2 years of LIV's existence, they were on the CW. And, like Adam in our Twitch chat room. Okay. I think I watched it during March Madness. And March Madness never been on the CW. So I'm just wondering, have you ever watched? Because I think there's a decent number of people, I-4 South, who are going to check out, obviously, Miami and South Florida, and they're going to have to find it. Number one. And number two, it's interesting in this day and age that there's a channel out there that maybe you haven't watched. So I was just thinking about that. By the way, Tom Brenneman with the call.
Oh, okay.
His second
I
year.
wonder if Castellanos will hit one out.
I don't know. Maybe we'd have to have the games on concurrently to see. But hoping to get Tom Brenneman on the show, actually, before the week is done. But it's his second year calling the ACC on CW package. So there. I just, I want to get the word out for the folks that actually want to watch this game. What time? 4:30. That's an odd start time. Would you agree?
I would. And, we had that with, was it the Gators game last week? Started at a little like 12:45 or something like that because it was on SEC Network.
Right. And so, it's networks trying to stagger their start times and what have you. So just a combination of getting the word out and also having a little fun. Hey, have you ever, I don't know. It's probably not worthy of a poll question, but.
Well, I like you you have for a long time on this show advocated that you and I, while doing a sports show trying to entertain, were also a lengthy public service announcement.
Yes.
Letting the folks know where games are, when games are, because you all have lives and you're very busy between work, family, and children. So we try to help when we can.
And I don't think it's a great weekend of college football once again, okay? In some conference games, okay, I mean, it got Georgia, Tennessee,
Right.
okay, a little meat on the bone there. Okay, we got some conference games with some meat on the bone.
Clemson, Georgia Tech. I think that's a
Right.
very underrated game. A game that I also think is a little underrated because I don't know if they're very good, but Wisconsin and Alabama play this week. And I just think the pressure that's on DeBoer in Alabama, Wisconsin's aware of it. And I don't know if they're ready for that game yet, but I'm interested.
Well, I also think that there's pressure on Luke Fickell in Wisconsin too. Like, I don't think they can go there and get whacked. If you know what I mean. I think Wisconsin's got to show up.
I mean, Notre Dame and A&M. I think it's Florida and LSU, Vanderbilt and South Carolina. I mean, this is a little better weekend than last weekend.
Oh, a lot
on paper, and last weekend delivered
It
in
did.
a big way.
It did. So that's on my mind. We're getting over the hump. You pretty much put last week to bed now. Okay. Yes, Doll fan, Gator fan. You can put last week to bed. It's okay. One step in front of the other. It'll be okay. Well, actually, I don't know if it'll be okay, but I'm just trying to help you put one step in front of the other to get to the weekend. Then, it's out of my hands.
Miller and Moulton, it's a hump day. That means we'll talk with Seth Everett and Bud Elliott, the starting five, 25 minutes away. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 13325. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Well, I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So, all right, I have got to ask if any of you remember this. I'm not doing this for Today Was the Day When. But as I was doing Today Was the Day When, I noticed this. Today in 1974, and this is a little before my television time, but NBC premieres the show Born Innocent, starring Linda Blair as an abused teen in a juvenile detention home. Now,
Wow.
that's a toe tapper,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
Yeah, I saw the whole Kevin James and Rob Snyder and Vanilla Ice. Yeah, and then I reposted it, but Sandler went and played some hoop with the FGCU team yesterday. Not Exorcist Girl. No. I get what you're going there. That's cute, but I'd never.
No, I was 8, turning 9 at the end of the year. There's no way I would have been allowed to stay up late enough. I think my bedtime was like 8 o'clock then, maybe even earlier. I think it's 16, John. $17.5 on ESPN Bet.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Seth Everett, Bud Elliott will join us in our 8 a.m. Eastern hour, the starting 5 in a little more than 15 minutes time. Well, we talked about it late last week. We brought it up even yesterday. Should Jalen Carter be suspended? If so, for how long? And mostly Eagles fans, but some others who had chimed in over the course of the last few days with us had said, I mean, hadn't he already really served the suspension? He got ejected before the game really started. And to you and I, we didn't think that counted. You know, he spit on Dak 6 seconds into the game. What if he spit on Dak with 1 minute, 6 seconds left in the game? Well, Mark, the NFL agreed with our Eagles fans and a few others. They said, He basically has already been suspended a game. But they set a precedent. Carter, they say, has already served a suspension. And they made sure to use that word, Mark, because what they also did was they took away his game check. That's what, and so the NFL believes they have now set a precedent that 20 and 30 years ago, when there were a few spitting incidents, people just got fined and it wasn't that big a deal. Carter's game check apparently is $57,222.
You know, I think that they made the wrong move. I understand how they worded this, but let me just ask some questions for you, David.
All right.
Later this season, next year, 5 years down the road, another player spits on a player in the second quarter and gets thrown out. Is he then suspended for the first half of the next game? No. You can laugh all you want. But
I am laughing. I'm laughing because it sounds like this is college football and we're doing the targeting penalty.
No, I know. But since Jalen Carter missed the whole game,
right,
it matters when you spit, not if you spit on another human being in order to be suspended. Okay. And we did get a text on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. 21,000 is the number. Miller is the keyword if you've never texted before. Pelican Roofing of Florida, 1-866-9-Pelican. Eagles fan here, and still thought he should have gotten an actual one-game suspension. I know Mark said the NFL cares about the shield, but there's a scenario where the TV show outweighs the bad look. Sincere question. Eagles Chiefs would do a big number regardless, but will there be more eyeballs on the game with or without Jalen Carter? Only because of this specific storyline. I don't think he moves the needle if this didn't happen. I don't think it attracts any more or any less eyeballs.
Yeah, not
Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Eagles, Chiefs, NFL, that moves the needle.
Yeah, I don't think a single person is or is not watching because of Jalen Carter. I don't think any person watched or didn't watch him at Georgia, even though he was a force.
But I get the question. I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, totally.
He threw it right back in our face. Rules TV show. Which one are you more important? Which one's more important to you? I mean, we've said forever it's a TV show.
Well, listen, this is the really cynical me. If the Eagles were playing the Panthers, if they were playing the Giants, a bad team, if the Eagles were playing the Saints, do we think Jalen Carter gets suspended for an additional game? Because the NFL has gone out of the way to say that essentially, by the way, isn't this the first time a referee has suspended a player then?
Correct.
That's who suspended him.
Yep.
Right? So they're trying to set a precedent for spitting by calling this a suspension. But Mark, you brought up a problem, so if somebody spits, was it when they spit? That, we have the running joke for us gamblers. Okay. A game has to play 55 minutes in order for the bets to count. Anything less than 55 minutes, the bets don't count. At what point have we reached the spitting threshold where if he misses the rest of the game, that's enough? Or, oh, no, he spit in the second quarter. Ooh, he spit the early third. No, he's going to miss a game.
This is very Seinfeld-esque. I mean, we need the second spitter, and
right.
How much did they hawk up? Is it a full loogie or is it just a wet spit? Does that matter? If you have a sinus problem, do you get a break? I mean, how does this work?
Right. The fact it was considered a soft spit not an angry, hard spit.
Right. More saliva than snot is
Right.
what we're looking at here.
So you and I are in agreement. We think the NFL got this wrong, but it is what it is. And Jalen Carter has apparently already been suspended for a game and has served it. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, the NFL announces on a Monday that Jalen Carter is suspended for a game, yet he's already served the suspension. Isn't this a first?
This is threading the needle, David. I mean, this is really threading the needle to me.
It's laughable. Come on, it's laughable. I mean, what? Who's doing? Is this the WWE? Who's in charge of this? Come on.
So that's what the league has decided in Spitgate 2025.
So he's already been suspended for a game, and he was docked his game check of $57,222, and he'll be there Sunday at Arrowhead. By the way,
and if you spit, it definitely depends on how much you make as to what you will be fined. I mean, that's also interesting to me from a precedent standpoint. We're taking game checks now, where a Patrick Mahomes game check is worth a hell of a lot more than a Jalen Carter game check. That's another precedent that I find fascinating in this. And look I don't even know how much we want to use the word precedent with the NFL, David, because they changed it. You mentioned wrestling, and, we could go NASCAR here, but football showing that they're not afraid to change the rules as things move along.
By the way, right now, over under 3.5. The Chiefs, after 6 weeks, they're already 0-1. How many wins will they have? They host the Eagles. Then they're at the Giants. Then they host the Ravens. Then they're at the Jags. And then they host the Lions.
I'd go under. I don't see 4. I don't see them getting 4 of the next 5 games. You put it at 3.5. You put it at 2.5, I might go over. But at 3.5, I'll go under right now. Be honest with you. If they're 3-3 through this, they've done a pretty decent job.
Without Rashee Rice, okay, then they would emerge and, play the Raiders, the Commanders, and the Bills. I mean, Chiefs got a schedule this year, especially in the first half of the season. So for those of us who think they've slipped, we'll find out in the next month just how much.
And I guess the NFL did give Billy Napier a solid by not suspending Carter. So that means Bet, the player who spit on the South Florida player, did all that running, felt remorse, and issued an apology. That'll be enough, Gator fans. I'm sure he'll be playing against LSU on Saturday night. Miller and Moulton, the starting 5 is next.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
Exclusions apply. See your local glass doctor for
Mark
details.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
I will let our very loyal, and thank you for that, Twitch and YouTube users know now. Don't freak out at 9 when the stream goes off. I have some things I have to do today, and I have to leave at 9, so we are running a best of hour at 9, so don't lose your minds when we sign off at 8:56 and everything shuts down. Couldn't get anybody to board up the show for the last hour for David. No, I've talked to Trent a couple of times. He's very, very, very nervous. Yesterday's 8:00 hour, DC. We didn't reinvent the wheel. It's Pat and Chris. Still timely. Not everybody listens to 4 hours of the show, so. Well, he played Tampa last night, Sonny, so I don't think he'll walk in the studio. But yes, that would be cool. This is, to be honest with you, this is where we miss John Cassio as a producer. John was so on top of everything that was coming to our area and had the PR contacts to get them on the show more times than not. He did many things well, but that is what he excelled at. The guests for the show and his ability to realize how he could get them. No one was in his league. No one I've ever worked with, and I'd put him up against national shows. National shows are easier because you are a national show, but I don't think any big market producer did what John was able to do for us. And fortunately, we made great relationships with a lot of those people. And from time to time, he still does it now, believe it or not. He still sneaks us a guest here and there. It is funny regionally what you talk about. Because if I were doing a show there, that's how I would open my show too.
I just want to know.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The 8 a.m. Eastern hour, Seth Everett, Bud Elliott. We'll do the bonus hour today. Will be a best of hour with Pat Kerwin and Chris Perkins. So there, very timely with everything that's gone on. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
And we'll start with the NFL. The league says that Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter will not be suspended any additional games since they are counting him missing all but 6 seconds of the season opener against the Cowboys as a suspended game. So that this way, if someone else spits in the future, they can suspend them for a game. It, of course, leads to a whole bunch of questions about, so does it matter when you spit on someone as to whether or not you'll be suspended for an additional game or not? Anyway, Carter forfeits a game check, since they're calling it a suspension, of $57,222. He will be able to play this Sunday against the Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch. 49ers, they gave Jake Moody a shot, drafted him in the 3rd round in 2023. He had 2 up and down years. He missed 2 kicks against Seattle. They said, we're done. We can't do this anymore. He's going to be replaced by Eddie Pinheiro. Also, the Niners placed tight end George Kittle on injured reserve, meaning he'll miss at least the next 4 games. He's got a hamstring injury. What helped make their decision for them is the math. The 4th game is on a Thursday. So it's really only 23 days in which they're playing 4 games in. And so the Niners just said, all right, we'll put them on injured reserve. San Francisco battling injuries again. They battled them all year last year. It wrecked their season. They've been battling them all training camp. Remember? They cut the guy who was competing against Moody in training camp because they needed the roster spot because they had so many guys hurt and they couldn't practice. The Dolphins, they signed off the Browns practice squad former Patriots first-round pick, offensive lineman Cole Strange. They need him because they placed guard James Daniels on injured reserve. He's expected to miss a lot more than 4 weeks. Steelers plan to sign safety Jabril Peppers. That's because Deshaun Elliott, one of their safeties, suffered a knee injury against the Jets. College football news. Deion Sanders at Colorado, he said at the start of the year, we haven't settled on our quarterback yet. We'll let the first couple games decide. He played 3 quarterbacks. One was a somewhat touted transfer. One was a highly touted 5-star recruit. And the other was kind of a journeyman, walk-on type of guy. Yeah, the 3rd stringer has won the job. Ryan Staub will be Colorado's quarterback moving forward. Conference play begins this Saturday against Houston. Georgia Tech quarterback Haynes King. If this were the NFL, based on what Georgia Tech had to say, he's questionable for the Clemson showdown this Saturday. Questionable, but leaning towards being able to play is pretty much what Georgia Tech said yesterday. They held Haynes King out of their Gardner-Webb win last Saturday. Let's turn to baseball. Tigers and Yanks are having a nice little game, 2-2 in the 7th. I don't know if the Yankees have still gotten anybody out. 9 runs in the 7th for the Tigers. They win it 12-2. Their lead is 8.5. Their magic number is 9. Tigers' magic number to clinch the Central is 9. Yankees fall 3 back of the Jays, who scored 2 in the 9th to tie and 1 in the 10th to beat Houston 4-3. Cuts the Astros' lead to 1 in the West, and Toronto's lead is 3 now over both the Yankees and Red Sox. Boston's won the first 2 games in Sacramento against the A's. In fact, they've yet to give up a run. They scored 4 in the top of the first for Connolly Early, making his major league debut. He threw 5 shutout innings. He struck out 11. He tied an all-time major league record for most strikeouts in your major league debut. Red Sox 3 back with the Yankees of Toronto. Seattle picked up a game on Houston. Randy Arozarena with a homer and 4 RBIs. Mariners 5-3 over the Cardinals. They trail by a game. Season series is tied at 5 between Seattle and Houston. They have a 3-game series still to play in Houston. Winner of that series will own the tiebreaker for who wins the division. Very interesting. Texas with a 4-run 5th. Then they held on to beat Milwaukee 5-4. Texas still a game and a half behind the Mariners for the final playoff spot. But hell, they're just 2.5 behind Houston for the division lead. Guardians with their 5th straight win, 2-0 over Kansas City. Cleveland hanging in there on the wild card.
And Kansas City dropping like a stone.
Kansas City 4 back, Guardians 2.5. Rays are 4.5 back. They hit 3 homers. They beat the White Sox on the south side 5-4. Cubs 6-1 over the Braves thanks to a 4-run 8th. They trail Milwaukee by 6.5. Kyle Tucker, however, back on the injured list for the Cubs. It's not good. It's going to be fascinating because the Cubs were all in to sign him. Tucker was going to ask for an obscene contract. He's had an inconsistent, injury-plagued season. I mean, he's still going to ask for the same amount of money as if he was still healthy.
But he ain't going to get it.
Well, boy, the Cubs gave up a lot for a 1-year rental.
I understand, but
I know. I'm with you. Phillies, listen, they had won the East before the 4-game series started. It's official now. I mean, not technically, but their lead's 9 over the Mets. Their magic number's 9. Mark, anything happened in that game?
You get yourself a good one here, Kyle. I got a feeling he's going to try to throw at Cutter again.
The waits on deck. Greg Farnese's locked in. 3-1. Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50. Kyle Schwarber has just hit his 50th home run of the season. He's the second Philly to do it. And they now lead it 7-1.
Ryan Howard, the other Philly to hit 50 homers in a season. That's Phillies television. John Kruk guessing the pitch. Tom McCarthy with the call.
Go get you one, Kyle.
They're They're a really good listen, by the way.
They are. They're fun.
And they talk baseball when you need to talk baseball. All right. They're a very fun watch and listen. Phillies 9-3 over the Mets. The Mets lead for the final playoff spot is down to 2
Because of whom?
San Francisco. You know, they were sellers at the deadline. Giants 5-3 over the Diamondbacks thanks to a Willie Adames 3-run homer. They're 2 back. Our pesky Reds are just 3 back. Tyler Stevenson with a 2-run homer in the 9th. They beat the Padres 4-2.
6 more, Cincy. 6 more. It's all you need, baby.
Come on, Mark.
6
In
more.
2.5 weeks, they'll get it done.
It's the magic number for me is 6. Both my Athletics and my Reds have to win 6 more to win over-under bets.
Padres lost. Dodgers won. Teoscar Hernandez with 2 homers. LA 7-2 over Colorado. Their lead in the West is 2. In front of 8,634, the Nats continue to own the Marlins. The Marlins, by the way, are 1-7 in September. The Nats are responsible for 5 of those 7 losses. They're 5-0 against the Fish this month. 7-5 Washington over the Marlins. Josh Bell homered again, his 4th in 3 games. Baltimore, thanks to an overturned call on replay in the 11th, beat the Pirates 3-2. They got the call right, but it was ruled a foul ball during live action. They took a look at replay with the winning run on 3rd, and it was a fair ball. Therefore, he scores. Angels 12-2 over the Twins. Kyle Hendricks with 7 shutout innings. One other baseball note, Wander Franco, who's still officially on the suspended list. When do they get to release him? Just curious. So technically, he's still a member of the Rays organization. Yep. But we all know the convicted sexual abuser of a minor is never going to see the major leagues again. His family in the DR asked for him to be admitted to a mental health facility, and the authorities grabbed him and put him in the mental health facility. So there. Golf, 11 of the 12 U.S. Ryder Cuppers are in Napa for the Procore Championship. Xander Schauffele is the one missing. He has a good excuse. Okay, his wife just gave birth to a son. So, you know.
Really? Kid or Ryder Cup? Well, what's more important here, Xander?
Come on, this is a prelim for the Ryder Cup. This isn't the Ryder Cup.
I'm having a little fun.
I know. But 10 of the 12 then are playing out in Napa.
Bryson's caddying. Oh, sorry.
Right. He's just walking around, offering encouragement, and he's there for the team meals.
I was stunned. There is video that I saw yesterday of Bryson at the Walker Cup. We know he was at the Walker Cup, but there's video that he put out on his social, and he's great on social, walking around the Ryder Cup. And he was talking about the 9th hole. It's his favorite. He said, if I had one hole to play for the rest of my life, it would be 9 at Cypress. And he kind of shows the hole. But this is Cypress Point. They don't allow cell phones on the property. So I'm guessing Bryson had to get permission from Cypress Point to do that. And to be honest with you, I'm stunned they gave it.
You know, we'll have to look into that and see whether or not he got permission, or whether or not, you know, did anybody stop him because he's Bryson DeChambeau and ask?
But I found that just the quirkiness of me and some of the uppity golf courses and the rules they have, they don't allow cell phones there. They don't allow people there normally.
WNBA, Las Vegas won their 15th in a row, beating Chicago by 31. Seattle claims the final playoff spot. They hit a shot late to beat Golden State by 1. That eliminates LA, even though they beat Phoenix. The playoff matchups are coming into shape. Thursday is the last day of the regular season, and the playoffs start Sunday. And one final note, the U.S. men's national team, which has not been performing very well, They beat Japan 2-0 in a friendly yesterday and apparently looked decent doing it. Hey!
Whatever. I
Yeah.
saw that was on as I turned my television on to, see what games I was going to watch. And I saw soccer. First thought was, is it men's or women's? And who are we playing? So I had to go look it up. We were playing Japan. And nothing like an hour pregame show for a friendly on a network. Talk about needing to kill some time.
Got to get the commercials in. You got 2 halves that are 45 minutes commercial free. We got to pay for something around here. And as we approach 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories and a friendly that you needed to know about here on Miller and Moulton. I told you last week when you were trying to say that the Mets were in the playoffs. I'm like, they got 4 games in Philadelphia next week, and their pitching's a mess. They could lose all 4 of those games. And you were like, come on, they own the Phillies. I go, they own the Phillies when their pitching's lined up. And their pitching ain't lined up. 2 more with the Phillies, Mark. Telling you.
Well, see, I was not at all worried about the Reds catching them. I wasn't. They've not been consistent enough through the year for me to think they could string off, 14 of their last 20 or something like that. But the Giants, they've come out of nowhere, and they're not losing to anyone. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. Got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Michael, I have to admit, having been there a few times myself, I didn't see the need for a new stadium, but I don't know how anybody could be against it because the new owners are paying for the whole thing themselves. So don't know how you could be against it.
That's all right. They built a stadium in Buffalo, Sunny, without a roof.
Right.
Good luck with that. Not that Buffalo, that's the one thing they probably told Buffalo, you can put all the roofs on it you want. You're never getting a Super Bowl.
Well, I don't know if they'd get a Final Four, I'd be honest.
No, you're right. I mean, they'll get a draft out of this, and Buffalo will be a great city for the draft. Great.
Oh, awesome.
Amazing.
Yes. Yes, they will fly.
And Detroit and Pittsburgh and other places can get there. It's a little tough, but you know what I mean. Shimko, they are moving along. As David pointed out, when the schedules came out, they gave an 8-10-day road trip to start for the Rays this year.
Yeah.
Trying to buy him a little time.
Yeah, I think 8 or 9 game roadie. Yeah.
McNeil was second alternate for this week. I don't know if he's going to get in, but he flew out to Napa.
Oh.
Thinking he's going to get in.
They gave
because
him
he has no status on the Champions Tour.
Yeah,
at least not yet. They changed the whole thing. There's Q School. You used to put 5. They still don't know what the new rules are of how they're going to. He's in the Chubb as a sponsors. Apparently, he's talking to one other tournament where you are, and he's close. I think that's Furyk's tournament in Jacksonville.
Yeah. I think it's next month.
Yeah. And he turns 50 here, shortly. So he's trying to get in a couple before their playoff, if you will.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks for getting over it with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Just having a little fun with our poll question. I mean, it's not fun, but, just a little dig in the side there. So the Canes South Florida game. By the way, the spread keeps going up. Talk about no respect. My goodness, the Bulls, and not like anybody on the team, including maybe even the head coach, knows who the hell Rodney Dangerfield was. But man, talk about no respect at all, I tell you. 17.5-point underdogs are South Florida in Miami. But the game's 4:30 Saturday on the CW. And so we just asked, have you ever watched a sporting event on the CW before?
Hang on, do me a favor again. It's not funny how?
It's not that kind of funny.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. I needed a little clarification.
It's just a little poke. Just a little thing in the ribs. Like, here. Got that? Yeah.
I will say, Gator fan and maybe Gator hater, but you impressed me yesterday. Because our poll question yesterday was, who do you want to be the Gators head coach in 2026? And Billy Napier was the first answer we listed. Lane Kiffin ended up winning with just a little less than 28%. Sunbelt Billy got 26%. And then Gruden and Golish tied with just a hair over 23%. But I'm impressed that Napier actually finished second, because that means if you're voting for Napier, that he turns this thing around.
Right. We can salvage this season. And not only that, keep DJ Lagway in the fold. Because most everybody believes if Billy goes, quarterback goes.
And it's interesting. David, here's the thing. Based on the 3 people that we suggested to take over the Gator program. 2 of the 3 keep Lagway, in my opinion. Golish doesn't. If Golish is the coach, Lagway's gone. If Gruden or Kiffin were the coach, Lagway would stay, in my opinion.
Ooh.
And that would be a determining factor as to who I hired. Because if Lagway sees another guy coming in from a smaller program, and I love what Golish is doing. Everything David has talked about the past couple of days is right. He is building this the right way. We love Alex Golish. He's been on this show a lot. From the very first time he arrived in South Florida, we had him on the show. We like what he's doing. I'm unbelievably impressed with how quickly he's turned around a dumpster fire that was the South Florida Bulls. But if you're Lagway and the money that's going to be thrown at you in the portal from other big-time programs, and you have a coach that maybe you're not as sure about, whereas Kiffin, he just put a guy in the first round, and Gruden likes the quarterback position just a touch. I think he would stay.
Could you imagine Gruden gets the job and he meets with Lagway and Lagway's talking to him about the offense and what have you. And Gruden says, well, I have to decide if I want you. Let's stand in front of the board here. Now, listen, tell me what you're doing here. Okay. What were you thinking on this play? I don't know if that's a Gruden or if that's incorporating about 4 coaches.
It had a hint of Gruden in it. Okay. You could definitely smell the Gruden in that imitation.
When he did Monday Night Football, I had him down. But I was a one-trick pony, though.
Right. What's that line again?
I love this guy.
There you go.
I love them all.
It's so good. And I love Gruden. And I would, David maxes out credit cards for a lot of sporting things.
Right.
I'd do a lot to get Gruden on this show because with his new deal at Barstool, teams just, and by the way, if there are any teams out there listening that want to send us boxes of crap, I'll open them on air too. But I never knew I could get so much entertainment out of watching a guy open a box. And the trouble he has with the box every damn time is fantastic. Maybe it's just a midlife thing for all of us that I look at that and can relate, but it's fantastic.
Mark, this is our 20th year of doing this show. We did the show in the same studio for 17 years or 16 years. I have a question. Did we ever get any free stuff from FGCU?
Yep. Yes, we did.
We did?
I still have it. I have 3 FGCU shirts. 1 I purchased.
Okay.
The other 2 were given to us, I think, by Fly.
Oh, well, but that was by one person, if you know what I mean. That was
Who
by
cares?
the head coach.
Okay.
All right.
It comes from the head coach. Who did it come from?
All right. I'm just saying, we had a guy at FSW, the local JUCO.
They gave us stuff too. I still got my FSW shirt that I wear proudly.
Right.
You know the damn thing about the FSW shirt though, and that's the what is it? It's not. I guess it's a 2-year. It's a 4-year college, but it's more of a JUCO.
Yeah, it's a JUCO.
So, and it's in Southwest Florida for those of you listening in Tampa, Jacksonville, Huntsville, wherever. But I wear the shirt occasionally. It's a nice shirt.
Right.
It's an Under Armour shirt. And I was wearing it somewhere, and this is probably 3 years ago. And obviously, I'm not a student there. And I had the shirt on, and I'm at Publix going through the grocery line, and the checkout girl must have gone to school there. And she, FSW, are you a professor there?
Yeah, that's Mr. Miller to you there, sweetheart.
I'm the dean. How about that?
Right. Ooh, really? What do you do? I'm in charge of parking at events.
So, yes, we've received some FSW stuff.
Okay.
We've received, and I have to restock my FGCU gear. It's tattered. It's old. I mean, this is old stuff. But David, when you get that T-shirt and it fits right, you wear it till it falls apart.
Darn right you do. Darn right you do. Even if they don't even return your calls anymore. You're darn right you do.
Well,
Miller and Moulton.
we earned that. And by we, I mean you.
We could debate this, but no one would want to hear it. Maybe for a commercial break on Twitch and YouTube, we can get into that a little more detail.
I'm in.
Listen, I think the Mets are going to hold on, but I'm not sure. Here's the reason why I think they're going to hold on. The Giants have 7 games with the Dodgers remaining. I don't think the Mets are going to do anything to secure this spot. I just think maybe there's a chance that others will do enough so that the Mets are like, well, I guess we'll take this last playoff bid. We don't deserve it. Do you know what the Mets record is since the middle of June? It's like the 6th worst in baseball. They were the best team in baseball in mid-June. They blew a 5-0 6th inning lead to the Rays. And since then, they've been bad. Bad. They're like 12 games below 500 since mid-June. Who the hell makes the playoffs playing 3 months of 12 games below 500 baseball?
Wasn't that the Yankees last year?
I don't know that if it was that
I don't think it was that bad, but it wasn't very good.
No.
It wasn't very good. And that's why, it's I don't want to say hard, but it's difficult, I guess, to get jazzed up for these Major League Baseball playoffs because you and I both like a team that should make, like my team's going to make the playoffs. Yours should. And we both look at those teams and go, yeah, I don't see a World Series team there.
Well, I don't either, but we all know. I mean, I'll never forget the 2003 Red Sox, and not because of, the dramatic ALCS, but the Red Sox all year had an awful bullpen. Awful. And with 10 days left in the season, all those guys who had a proven track record in the majors and stunk for 24 and a half weeks, in the last 10 days of the season, found it. And all of a sudden, the playoffs start, and the Red Sox, who have been compensating for their bullpen all year long, all of a sudden, the bullpen was lights out. So much so that Grady Little, it was impossible with 2 weeks left in the regular season to envision a scenario in which Grady Little would be criticized for leaving Pedro Martinez in a game and not going to his bullpen. And yet, obviously, we know what took place a few weeks later in October. And that's what to me, Mark, La Russa and the Cardinals, they had the great teams in 2004 and 2005. They each won well over 100 games. All right, the 2004 team got swept by the Red Sox. The 2005 team got beat in the LCS by the Astros. The 2006 team that won the World Series, I think they won 83 games. I mean, the Yankees won you the last title they won under Joe Torre.
I'm thinking back to that Rockies wildcard team that didn't do anything else. Now, they didn't win the World Series, but all of a sudden, for 2 weeks, they caught fire.
Right. They had a 3-week run in September. They went from being below 500. They went literally 20-1.
And then they win this 2 series. They win a wild card game. They win a couple series. They're in the World Series. They had a bunch of time off, ended up getting whacked.
So that's why it wouldn't shock me. The last title Joe Torre won with the Yankees. They lost like 15 of 18 to end the season. I think they won the division with like 87 wins.
By the way, I will say the Yankees are always in other teams' head because last night as the Blue Jays have this miraculous comeback, 2 in the 9th and 1 in the 10th to beat the Astros. During the game, Buck Martinez, the analyst, couldn't help but dig on the Yankees. The Yankees, they're not a good team. I don't care what their record is. They have a lot of wild pitches. They make a lot of mistakes in the field. They don't run the bases very well. If they don't hit home runs, they don't have a chance to win. I will honestly say Buck Martinez is spot on in his assessment of the Yankees.
But you're right. Clearly, the Yankees are in the Jays' head.
You got it.
Even though they've owned the Yankees this year.
but they're always in your head.
Why? Because they're the Yankees. Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Faro and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Faro and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Faro and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
So I asked him at Floor Meisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available, delivery's always available. And tell them Floor Meisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floor Meisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floor Meisters, floormeisters.com.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
This is Miller and Moulton.
It is interesting where if this fails in Florida, I don't think he gets a head coaching job right away, but his ability to call plays at Florida is hurting him, Adam. I mean, I know he'll get an OC job or a head coaching job at a lower level at some point, but man.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question, it's also a public service announcement at the same time. The Miami South Florida football games on the CW Saturday. Just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. 4:30 kickoff also. So we ask, have you ever watched a sporting event on the CW? Yes or no? That's all. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. Hey, couple quick hitters here.
Okay.
First off, we were just joking about the Yankees being in Toronto's head and all that. Did you see who Judge passed on the Yankees all-time home run list
I
last
did.
night?
He passed Yogi last night, right?
And did you see who's next?
No, I did not.
Joe DiMaggio.
Okay.
He's 2 homers away from tying and 3 homers away from passing Joe DiMaggio on the list. The 3 guys that would be ahead of him on the all-time Yankees list would then be Gehrig, Mantle, and Ruth. He's officially exactly 300 home runs behind Ruth as a Yankee. Ruth did hit 55 homers with teams not named the Yankees, but he's exactly 300 homers behind Babe Ruth on the Yankees all-time list.
Let me ask you this question. Take our teams out of it. Don't say you want my team to win for me, and I won't say I want your. If the Mets don't win the World Series, they get bounced in the first round, whatever the case may be, who are you rooting for to win the World Series?
Milwaukee.
I'm San Diego.
Okay.
And I think similar reasons. I mean, San Diego's a one sports team town now, and they have bought into the Padres, and the ownership has rewarded them by mostly spending a ton of money, getting good players, and they pack the joint every night. I think it would be great for that fan base to win the final game.
I would be one of the 37 people watching the Seattle-Milwaukee World Series with glee, because Milwaukee hasn't been since '82 and Seattle's never been. So I'm with you, Mark. I'd love 2 franchises in the World Series if my team can't be there who have never won the thing before, because you know my theory, every fan base deserves one parade.
And I know Milwaukee's not Green Bay, but they've had success.
Yeah,
the
Bucks
football team,
right? The Bucks just won one recently, and what have you. But
in Seattle, the Seahawks have won one. So, but your point is well taken.
Yeah,
I just look at San Diego. They lost their damn football team. It was stolen for them basically to move up the road, and for whatever reason, the ownership thought the fans would just make the drive and become LA Charger fans.
Yeah, moron.
Right. I don't blame them for taking the money and all of that, but
rich moron.
Yes.
Moron.
Yes.
Here's another thing. We talked Jalen Carter, the NFL decided that sitting out basically all but 6 seconds of the Cowboys game, we're going to call that a 1-game suspension, which, by the way, another thing, there was a play in the game. I mean, he's not even sitting out a whole game.
Well,
I know. I'm just trying to jump on the NFL's case here. So anyway, we got the other spitting incident, though, at Florida, in which it's now pretty apparent. I mean, this kid's not going to be benched by Billy Napier because, you know, Mark, he is, after all, remorseful.
Well, and that's the key.
Apparently so. But here's my question to you. Shouldn't Greg Sankey get involved here?
It's a great question. And yes, he should.
Can I read
And that would do one thing. If Sankey levied a suspension, it would then set conference precedent.
Well, he has suspended people before. There was a Florida-Missouri football game 5 years ago in which the SEC came in and suspended people because of actions in the game. But let me just read you. This is from the SEC handbook. The Southeastern Conference can suspend a player for violating sportsmanship standards or NCAA rules, such as engaging in flagrant unsportsmanlike actions or flagrant personal fouls that game officials did not call. The SEC reviews game footage to identify such infractions and can impose sanctions, including suspensions for part or all of a game. But I'm just wondering here, if you're Greg Sankey, I mean, is it out of line for you to make a phone call? When you start to see and hear what's happening in Gainesville, you call Scott Strickland and go, you guys are really not going to suspend him for spitting on another player? You guys may want to rethink that.
Here's my question to you, and this is a little bit of negligence on my part because I do not spend nearly enough time reading Kevin Brockway and Graham Hall and the other folks from the Gainesville Sun article. Is there anything that you're seeing anywhere where people not named Miller and Moulton are suggesting a suspension for this man?
I haven't really seen it.
Neither have I. Out of sight, out of mind.
Well, and also I think this is where there's so much heat on Napier that it actually helps the player.
Right. They win that game and he does that. Maybe he will suspend him.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm a little curious that Sankey and the SEC haven't gotten involved here. I mean, first off, they're quick to get, God forbid you storm a court or run out onto the field after a big win.
Oh, yeah.
We can't fine you enough. My goodness. Yeah, but how about a guy spit on another player? I mean, Mark, the joke could be, well, we'll just take away a game check.
And we brought that up yesterday when talking about Bet. Interesting name, by the way. The kid from Florida that did spit on the South Florida player. They can't find a college. I mean, they're making money, but you don't find college players. When's that going to come down? I mean, it's minor pro ball. We are watching professional football. We are just masked with collegiate players and collegiate uniforms. The Athletic did a pretty interesting piece yesterday in talking about how college students, and it once was, the fabric of the college game. You guys are just extras for the TV show. We don't care about you. You play in the South. It's 110 degrees. We'll play at noon. How's that sound? You know why? It fits our TV window.
So I'm just wondering, would anybody be upset? Would you think he'd be overstepping his bounds as commissioner if he stepped in here? I mean, can't he do whatever he wants, right?
Absolutely. And it pales in comparison to this, but I have to look, David. You remember the ugly incident when the Michigan State guys showed their class once again and swung the helmet at the Michigan player? I thought the Big Ten suspended them. I don't think Michigan State suspended those players initially. I thought the Big Ten did. So very different circumstances.
Right.
It pales in comparison to the spitting. Trust me, they swung helmets at other people, used them as weapons. They could have been arrested for crying out loud, very least of which suspended. But I thought, and I'd have to go back and look, but I thought it was the Big Ten that handed down suspensions on that.
So I'm kind of curious as that Sankey's just sitting this one out. I mean, he's one defensive lineman. I mean, this isn't Johnny Manziel, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's not something that literally would be the lead story on game day at 9:01 Saturday morning. I'm a little surprised that, for Jalen Carter, this was damn near a felony. And for the kid from Florida, well, he's remorseful.
Well, he did issue an apology on Instagram, David.
Right.
That I'm sure he wrote.
Right.
He probably just had the Florida folks proofread it. But Elliott, Seth Everett coming in the 8 o'clock hour. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, if I have this right, and you may have to double check my numbers here, but I have favorites going 9-7 last week, and overs went 4-12. I know you always, I just kind of did it quickly here. I think I've got that right. By the way, David, quickly, since we've got a couple minutes and I want to have this Twitch YouTube discussion, you did an immense amount of great things for FGCU, but the not returning your calls in the last little bit could be a self-inflicted wound.
What calls didn't I return?
No, they didn't return your calls, you said.
Right.
You did kind of go scorched earth on them with the last email, if I recall.
I
didn't see the email based on what you told me.
I was told by them to email them and contact them. Okay. I then proceeded to spend months calling them and emailing them. They literally didn't respond one time. Chargers Chiefs went over.
Chargers Chiefs went over. Steelers Jets went over.
Obviously, Bills Ravens went over.
Bills Ravens went over, and Vikings Bears went over.
Okay. Now underdogs. Cowboys covered. Chargers covered.
Right.
Technically, were the Colts favored?
Colts were favored.
Okay, so 2-1. Giants didn't cover 2-2. Panthers didn't cover 2-3.
The Browns covered.
3-3.
The Titans covered.
4-3. Jets covered, by the way, by a half. 5-3.
Yep. The Bills were an underdog.
The Bills covered 6-3. Raiders covered because they were the dog and won 7-3.
That's it. The rest were favorites. I think.
Yeah, 49ers covered by a half.
Right.
And the Packers were favorites.
Yep.
Rams covered. They were 3.5, won
Yep.
by 5.
Covered.
And Vikings covered because they were 1.5 and won
Right.
by 3.
Right. I mean, a lot of really low lines, but if I've got 9-7 favorites, 4-12 over to under. I just am curious now that I look at week 2, how much did they adjust? Hey, Wes, question for you. You're hearing every day, and I remember that we met a Wes a long time ago that was an attorney. Are you two one and the same?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Seth Everett joins us then. Bud Elliott will join us 1 hour from now. Some Miller and Moulton housekeeping has to go on. We will leave you live an hour earlier today than normal, but we will replay from yesterday our Pat Kerwin and Chris Perkins interviews in our bonus hour today. So a replay in our 9 a.m. Eastern hour of a terrific hour that we had yesterday with Pat Kerwin and Chris Perkins. You just uncovered some nuggets about week 1 in the NFL now that it's officially in the books from a non-entertainment purposes only perspective.
Yes, it's something that you usually do, and for whatever reason, it dawned on me yesterday that I better look this up just in case. And because we start getting to Thursday, we're moving forward. This is about the last time an hour that we look back on the previous week of games. But in the NFL, favorites went 9-7 for what it's worth. A lot of very small point spreads in games. For instance, the Bills were an underdog and won. It's a 1.5 point spread. The Steelers were a favorite that won by what, a half point?
Well, the Jets
or lost by a half point, right?
Right. The Steelers were favored by 2.5 and won by 2.
San Francisco at the end ended up being a 1.5 point favorite over Seattle. So the favorites went 9-7. But where you made your money last week was betting the unders. And while that's a trend you do reserve usually for just Iowa football blindly, if you would have bet the unders this week, you would have gone 12-4.
In my theory, do you know why the under is the play now far more often than it used to be? Do you know how many less drives there are in an NFL game now, last year and week one this year than there used to be? There were a lot. I just went through almost every NFL game. And a lot of box scores now list total drives. Mark, you'd be surprised how many NFL games in which each team had the ball 9 times, at most 10 times. That's Army-Navy-ish numbers. It wasn't that long ago, and I'm talking about maybe the beginning of the decade, Mark. Each team had the ball 12 times. And what we're seeing now, Mark, is defenses struggling to get off the field quickly. Team giving up first downs. Most teams are playing the bend but don't break. No trouble giving up the field goal, especially since head coaches are passing up half the damn field goals that are doable. I mean, what did not get talked about enough in the Vikings-Bears game was Ben Johnson passing on a 42-yard field goal when he had a 4-point lead in the second quarter. What the hell? I don't care what the analytics say. Take the points. When are points a bad thing? But I digress, Mark, and I'll say it for anybody. If you've got 2-3 minutes and you just want to sit there, whatever your favorite site is, okay, and just hit the team stats icon. Total drives, 9, 10, 9. Okay, Mark, there's very few games this week in the NFL in which any team in the game had more than 11 drives. And it used to be 12 to 13 drives a game not that long ago. But it just seems, Mark, as if everybody can rip off a 5 or 6 minute drive, even if it doesn't result in points.
We had an 18-play drive in the Bucs-Atlanta game. 18 plays. I think part of that too, David, is what you said. We're, 4 years into this? We go for it on fourth down a hell of a lot more than we ever did before.
Yeah, I'd say it's about right.
And 4th and 2 is a go down.
Right.
For damn near everybody from your own 40 on. So I think, you don't get 3 and outs. Teams don't get the good field position. The other side of this, David, is that it was over double in week 1 in the number of returns that there were in the kicking game than just there were a year before.
Yes.
Because they're going to put it on the 35. So now teams are kicking it and allowing the run. The run's getting to about the 30. But I want to say it was in like the 30 percentile of returns a year ago. It was almost 70% in week 1. So we're starting much further on our drives.
Yes.
And we're going for it more on fourth downs.
Yeah. Coaches made the decision heading into week 1 this year that we're not giving them the ball in the 35. Remember last year they put the new rule in, and what did everybody do? They just bombed the sucker out of the end zone. They said, we're taking this out of the play. Just place the ball and go. Not this week.
No.
Passed. Not at all. And in fact, I thought I saw a couple of guys catching the ball a yard or 2 in the end zone and taking
100%.
it out. And I'm like, So, interesting. It's why also Ben Johnson, and we didn't get into it yesterday because, we're not doing a show in Chicago. But, I mean, I would have loved to have asked Ben Johnson, so what were you thinking there with 2:02 to play and 1 timeout left? Okay, because your kicker, I mean, he hadn't drilled one into the end zone, never mind through the end zone all night. Was that because you were instructing him not to? I mean, you can't allow any time to go off the clock here. I mean, I didn't think it was a crazy suggestion at all when Troy said, well, you either got to kick this out of the end zone or kick it out of bounds. And I know you give him the ball at the 40 when you kick it out of bounds, but what was the most important part of the end of that game?
It was 2:02, right?
It was the clock.
The first play, first down was the key play, because what happens after first down? You get a clock stop.
Correct. And then you still have a timeout, so you can stop the ball on second down, and then they have to decide, are they going to risk a pass on third down? And if they don't, you will get the ball back with roughly a minute to go in the game, down 3.
That's doable.
That's even if you're starting on your own 10,
right,
because you kicked it out of bounds. It's still doable. Right. So anyway, but getting back to your point about the over-unders and what have you. So what was the number? First off, one that I'm big on, there's no home field advantage anymore in the NFL. Let's take Chargers Chiefs off the board. I know technically it was the Chargers home game. But
right, but it was played in Brazil. It doesn't count.
Then if you take Chiefs Chargers off the board, I believe, Mark, home teams went 8-7.
So home teams went 8-7. Favorites went 9-7. The under went 12-4.
So there you have it.
All right. Just some things we kind of pay attention to on this show. We'll see. And I kind of will have to look at last week's over under compared to this week's. And I know it's matchups and all that, but did Vegas do what they do? You remember, I had a field day in the early part of our show in the first 2-3 weeks of college football, because they would never set the lines high enough on the good team versus the god-awful team.
Right.
It'd be in the mid-30s. And it's like, Ohio State's going to score 60. I don't care. They're going, Florida State's going to score 60. They're going to cover these games. I don't know. I'd say about a decade ago, Vegas caught on to that.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, you see these 47-point spreads we'd never seen. It was when the Patriots had their undefeated season and were just pounding teams.
Right.
They couldn't set the line high enough to get you to take the underdog. I mean, they were daring you. They were putting some obscene NFL lines out there on the Patriots that year. And they caught up. And now I'm wondering, to the things we're talking about, if this trend continues, how Vegas adjusts to the over-under numbers. But
so,
those of you that like sports for more than entertainment purposes only, we thought we'd leave you with a couple of those nuggets.
But as you've mentioned many times, Vegas will adjust. And my guess is they've adjusted on the over-unders already. Vegas knows. Unless Vegas goes, people like to bet the over, keep it the same. And let's face it, we do. We like favorites and overs.
Right.
We like points, and we like the favorites to win.
Unders are boring.
Yes.
They are. They're for people that like defense. David likes unders.
I do.
The rest of us like overs. And you've been consistent for 20 years on that. You know, that Rams-Texans game, outside of the fact that you had the Texans winning, that's your kind of football, 14-9. It would only been better if it was played in December and snow somewhere.
I mean, I could go Niners, Seahawks 17-13. I mean, I could really, loosen up.
Bengals, Browns 17-16. Hell of a game for you.
Oh, my goodness. Bengals had 9 yards in the second half and won. Oh, my goodness, Mark. I might have scripted that game. In fact, it was so perfect.
The other thing on the over-unders last week, and I don't know how many games were that close because they were pretty decisive unders. Kickers stunk last week. It was a bad week for the kicker. They opened poorly.
By recent NFL standards, yes, they did. When now, I mean, let's face it now, these guys have gotten so good. I mean, we're surprised when they miss a kick inside of 50, aren't we?
Yes.
I mean, even when it's
who there missed that kick for Atlanta? Come on,
I was shocked.
I'm falling out of my chair.
I was shocked. I stood up and yelled. I couldn't believe it.
I did too. I needed a win so badly for the Bucs. I loved it. And I told David this yesterday, and I'm going to put these videos out every week on Saturday, having a little fun with my daughter who now understands point spread, and it's a proud parenting moment for me. We did a little video of us picking games, and I said something that was completely inaccurate, and I don't know how to edit videos, so I couldn't cut it out. The daughter went 2-3 on the 5 games I picked. David, I went 0 for 5.
Nice.
0 for 5. Didn't
Nice.
get one of the 5 college games right that we picked. Unbelievable. But fortunately, those weren't on the record, and I'll bury that video forever.
By the way, is this a surprising over-under? The Steelers just scored, what, 34?
Yeah, 34-32, right?
Yeah. The over-under in the Steelers-Seahawks game's 39.5. The Seahawks aren't playing the 49ers defense this week. They're playing the Steelers defense, which until proven otherwise, just got torched. And by the way, didn't end last season all that effectively either. Everybody blaming the quarterbacks in Pittsburgh, and with good reason. They couldn't score more than 16 points a game. Well, the defense wasn't holding a whole lot of people to under 27 either.
I mean, go look at Justin Fields' numbers from last week and tell me how good you think that Steeler defense is
I
right
was
now.
going to say, if Justin Fields could play about 6 more games against Pittsburgh this year, he'll get a contract.
In a big one. Absolutely. He'd say, Sam Darnold, hold my beer.
So that one jumps off the page for me. Seahawks Steelers 39.5. 40 points is a winner? So
Miller and Moulton. 8 o'clock hour coming. Seth Everett and Bud Elliott on the horizon to talk whatever it is Seth wants to talk about today, and we'll get ready for a little bit of looking back with Bud Elliott, but probably a little more looking forward. I'm more bullish on this week's college football than David is. I think it's a pretty sexy schedule.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by Clemson, Georgia Tech. As long as King's playing and he's expected to, right from the get, that game has me fired up.
see, this is where now paying attention to the Big Ten more than I ever used to, because the Big Ten early season scheduling is terrible.
Sucks. It's awful. Who was it? Bud Elliott last week that suggested they need to start playing conference games early. That's a pretty good idea.
Well, and I suggested that the Big Ten needs to find another conference and do what they do in basketball. They need to have the first 2-3 weeks of the year have like a Big Ten, Big 12 type thing where you play 4 games a week, home and home.
Well, I think they did that in the Big Ten this year. I think you just missed it. I think they've lined up conference challenge games with the MAC and Conference USA.
I'm sorry. My bad. I was kind of hoping for a Power 4 conference.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, so they went group of 5 instead. Got it. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well,
Poll question today, having a little fun. David doing his PSA of the week.
Yep.
Miami, South Florida. It's on the CW. Have you ever watched a sporting event on the CW? 2/3 of you have watched the CW for
wow.
A third of you say no. What's the CW? Seth Everett next.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Faro and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Faro and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Faro and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. Got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports, in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Seth.
Good morning.
How
The
are you?
CW. Have you've watched the CW?
Yeah, because when I went to YouTube TV, I get it.
Yeah.
That's and Seth, I'm trying to think. I think I had DirecTV. I had DirecTV before that because that's where you could get Sunday Ticket.
Right.
And on DirecTV, they didn't offer that as part of their local package. So, if Live Golf was on, if there was a basketball, if there was something.
Yeah, and you missed the CW, like Superman and Lois. How did you?
Yeah, Superman and Lois.
It's weird. Tom Brenneman's on it.
Right.
And Mike Yam, I don't know if you know him.
That name I don't know.
He's NFL Network now, but he started. He was on the Big Ten Network before he got laid off there. Or no, not Big Ten. Pac-12 Network. And then that folded, so he was out of a job, and he resurfaced. Mike Jaminski is on the CW. It's like a hodgepodge.
Hey, you take jobs where you can get them, right? I mean,
of course. No, I'm not begrudging anybody.
I know you're not.
It's weird. It's just a weird thing because there's no streaming service that except for like a YouTube TV or a Fubo or one of these things. You have to watch it on the linear channel, and the CW it's such a weird thing. It used to be Paramount and Warner Brothers co-owned it.
Right.
It was the WB and UPN, and they merged to form the CW, and then they sold it to this company. And David, we were just saying, Tom Brenneman's the play-by-play guy.
Yeah, has been. This is year 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying Mike Yam. Do you know Mike Yam?
Yeah, he was with the Pac-12 network.
Hey, look at you.
Now he's the host of their pre-show.
Yes.
Which, I mean, there must be 120 to 150 people that watch that pre-show.
Yeah. Right.
I know, come on. I mean, it's going on from 4 to 4:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, games are ending, games are starting, and then they're showing, an ACC game on an obscure network. I mean, that pregame show must do numbers.
I know. Last year there were like 3 Cuse games on the CW. And it's just like you're watching this and you feel like it feels minor league.
Yes. But I will say, Seth, the one thing, a little bit to argue that point, because I am a streaming only person now. I don't, what you said a long time ago, I don't know unless I'm looking
at channel, right. I don't know what channel it is. Anyway.
I don't know what the hell channel it is.
Right. It's a button. Yep.
I was so pissed last night because I went to put on, I watched the Tigers Yanks, but there was 2 pre-games on it, like 7:00, one for, or 6:30, even earlier than that, one for the soccer game and the other one for the Tigers, or, for the baseball game.
You're talking about the Team USA game?
Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out, because I couldn't, it's one of my pet peeves with YouTube TV. You can't get like a channel guide sometimes on for whatever reason. I can't get the live and see what's on. So I'm having to get my phone just to see who USA played, if it was men's or women's, because I had no idea.
Yeah. It's weird. It's a weird network. It's I don't know. The ACC made that deal, and I just okay. There's.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway through the show, and therefore our week, at least in the 904, the 239 in Tampa, St. Pete. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Final hour of the show, live Oak Lake City and surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice, and surrounding areas. Thanks so much for being with us. You know who joins us at this day and time. It is Seth Everett. He of the Two Terrific Podcasts, Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice. Although now he's slacking and he's, now doing 1 a week and not instead of 2, but whatever. Okay. Follow Seth on X, Seth_Everett, Seth_Everett. Listen, I know that this is unfair to most of our audience who is listening and not watching on Twitch or YouTube. Mm-hmm. However, you're wearing a U.S. Open tennis shirt, a t-shirt.
Yes.
And how much did you have to pay for that?
Oh, this is an old shirt.
Oh,
okay. Well, this is this is probably a 10-year-old shirt.
Okay.
But I mean, if since you asked and since we're on radio, it fits me now. So that's what I was.
You know what, Seth? I can relate to that because I dropped a bunch of weight. While most of my T-shirts fit me before the weight loss, there were certain shirts that make you look bigger.
Yeah.
And I loved the show The White Shadow way back when. And I brought one from that 70s Sports.
Yeah.
Orange shirt. And that made me look like a pumpkin walking down the street. And I've dropped about 30 pounds. And I put the shirt on now and go, this doesn't look so bad. So I can relate to that, Seth.
Yep, exactly. I went to the stores, though, at the U.S. Open, because I was there 3 times. And when I was there, none of it looked better than what I had.
Did you by chance, though, see how much it cost?
They were a fortune.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I'm looking, I go, that's got to be an $85 T-shirt.
Yeah, there were T-shirts there were polos that were like north of 110. It was
right.
I didn't even consider any of those things. It was like usually I'm tempted, and I wasn't even remotely tempted to watch that.
Seth, you're many things. Naive is not one of them. Okay.
Right.
You sent us a text this morning.
Oh, you had to tell them about the text?
Yes. We don't keep things.
There's nothing private.
No.
On this show, there's very little. Okay. Very little. Okay. You complaining about censorship in the sports media world. Seth, with all due respect, where the hell have you been?
Oh, it infuriated me on Saturday night / Sunday morning. Everybody knows the president went to the U.S. Open in the men's final. I felt terrible for the fans that paid thousands of dollars for tickets and were stuck outside and missed the beginning of it. Just the whole thing was just a big cluster blank. But the USTA sent a note to all the broadcasters saying not to comment on Trump, and it's censorship. It was completely inappropriate. It made the broadcast awkward. And if you don't have faith that Chris Fowler and John McEnroe know how to handle themselves in a setting where it is a toxic world, I just, it was so disrespectful, and the USTA should be ashamed of themselves.
Seth, this is where, because you're not really a college football fan, you're just a Syracuse fan. If you're a college football fan, the whole sport is media censorship. I mean, honestly, they don't give out depth charts to the announcers so that they don't even know. I mean big games, not a game that's on ESPN.
Well, the games that you do, right?
No. Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit called the North Carolina game Labor Day evening and did not have who was playing for North Carolina in front of them. I mean,
Belichick not allowing the Patriot scouts on his.
But they didn't say. They didn't say to Belichick that he can't. The broadcasters are allowed to talk about his girlfriend.
Ooh, interesting.
That's the censorship would be. Do not talk about his love life. That's censorship.
Now, how many times, Seth, you do podcasts? You've done. Now, most every podcast is not done in person. It's done via link or what have you. Right. But how many times has a PR person tapped you on the shoulder and said, don't ask so-and-so about such and such?
Of the 900 podcasts that I've done, probably 6.
I'm surprised it's that low.
And they ask, they don't tell. There's a big difference.
I will say, Seth, up until we started this interview, when I received your text, and it said I had a little dyslexia. I didn't read it USTA. I read it UTSA. And in my head, I'm going, what did Texas San Antonio do to piss Seth off?
Well played.
And then, why are the New York Giants not allowing Jackson Dart to talk to the media?
Why do you think? Why do you think?
What do they think? Jackson Dart's going to go, Russell Wilson stinks, I should be playing. Come on.
They don't want that storyline out there, period. So
I think it's absurd. They got the opposite result because now people are talking about it more.
I agree. I mean, this show is all about, openness and transparency. 98% of the time, there is certain privacy that we believe in
like
which
when a friend sends a text in the morning.
We feel that, right. Okay. Yes, we violated your privacy in the last half hour.
That's well played, Seth. That slipped through. I want to make sure everybody caught that.
But you know what? But I will even fight you on that because you were talking about the show. You weren't talking about you.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Right, because we are not tech people. I'm far better than David, but I don't consider myself a tech person. Seth is very good with technology. I don't ever name group chats. I have to be honest. I could probably figure it out, but if you gave me 60 seconds to name a group text, I don't think I could do it because you named this text. And Seth, you know what the name of the text is? Miller and Moulton Show. Yep. Once you put that on there, to me, it's public knowledge.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So look. The bottom line is that we live in this world where I worked for Major League Baseball for a decade, right? I knew the line not to cross. You could talk about the Orioles' ineptitude, but you can never talk about Peter Angelos. You never brought up the word Steinbrenner on your show. Like I knew that line. In broadcasting, you have to understand who your audience is and who your bosses are. And to have to send that note to those broadcasters because they think that John McEnroe is going to start waxing poetic about Trump, you're kidding yourself.
Well,
and it's insulting to all of those professionals.
Well, first off, they're not worried about him waxing poetic. Okay, they might be worried about the other because John is a liberal Democrat, and the USTA knows that. Okay, but. Also,
right, but those guys know their audience.
Well,
they know what country we live in.
I agree. I'm with you, but I can't believe you are surprised about the New York Giants and the USTA and what have you that are playing, putting their foot or 2 feet on the scales. I mean, Seth, it's one of the really good things about Miller and Moulton owning 100% of Miller and Moulton. Okay, listen, we had, even on this little show, we had times we had, salespeople who were lobbying the bosses, and I want to do a little something extra for my client, trying to force the client on our show. Okay, I can't tell you how many times we were approached by management saying, want you to do an interview with such and such. No. And they'd look at you like, we're paying you, right?
And it was forced down our throat a handful of times over the years.
Well, Saturday night, it was so off-putting. I love that tournament so much, and I immersed myself in that tournament for 2 weeks. And the end of it, I just wanted it over. And that's not the feeling I want for something that I care about a great deal. And I was so agitated. And then I felt the video of the people stuck outside Arthur Ashe Stadium who paid thousands of dollars for those tickets. That was crazy. The other note from the U.S. Open final, in one of the boxes was Bruce Springsteen and Sting sitting next to each other. And Bruce had his daughter, Jessica Springsteen. Jessica Springsteen is a championship equestrian.
Right.
My kid is watching Bruce Springsteen Sting and goes, "Hey, that's Jessica." Did not know or care who those other two schlubs were. It was just the equestrian person.
No, that's evident.
It was fascinating.
Right. That's a group of people that watch their videos at 45 seconds at a time and have no idea who Unk's music is now.
And did you guys see Courtney Cox reunite with Bruce Springsteen? That's the Dancing in the Dark video.
Right.
She came up to him, and I thought that was great. I was like, that is so fantastic. Talk about that. You could talk about that all you like, Chris Fowler.
Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Which one are you deciding to do this week?
Sports with Friends.
Okay.
Who you got?
Russ Thaler from U.S. Open Radio. We only do about 3 minutes on this. And then we get into the whole tournament. Alcaraz, Sinner. Is there anybody who can challenge either one of those guys? Is it good for tennis, bad for tennis? And the women, which I find fascinating, there's 8 of them that can win every year. And I think that's a perfect sport. We talk about hockey and competitive balance, how 17 teams can win the Stanley Cup this year. In women's tennis, there's literally 8 people who could win a major. That, to me, is a perfect sport.
It's funny because typically when you have greatness, you get better ratings. And this isn't a men-women issue, but the Sinner Alcaraz resonates with more people because instead of trying to figure out who 8 people are, I only have to know who 2 are.
Well, that and every tournament on the men's tour is 2 out of 3 except the majors. And I think that if you played 2 out of 3, you would get more upsets. And if you had more upsets, I think it's a better game. That's not to discount the greatness of Alcaraz, Sinner, or Novak, or any of or Nadal, or Federer, or any of the great players. But it's a fascinating U.S. Open recap with Russ Thaler.
He's Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Seth, thank you. Try to become more in tune with your daughter.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. NolanAgency.com. CCC 1332512. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, look, we all know by now how Seth leans politically, but this has nothing to do. This is a censorship thing. This is Seth the journalist pissed. Why he's pissed now miffs David and I a little bit, but
Shocked.
it's his baby. If he were a college football fan, this wouldn't have shocked him at all. Didn't even get to ask him about Syracuse doing rinse prints after the game.
I'm sorry.
No, we were on it. We were on to Cincinnati.
There you go, Jay Noel. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Adam, oh, trust me, I know there are definitely certain people that I know I can't work for. Oh, I know.
There are all these stories that pop up on social about behind the scenes stuff from movies. I don't know if they're made up. Like, how are we getting this stuff now that's 50 years old? But it is hysterical. Apparently, just reading this about Duvall and Brando in the filming of The Godfather, that there was, all obviously these really intense scenes. And right before Duvall apparently shared this, right before the camera rolled, Brando would moon him. He said he did it as a way to loosen the tension, a way to saying we're actors, don't take it too seriously. But I mean, the stuff that I don't know, like with AI now, who knows what's out there that's true. But God, it cracks me up from time to time. I'm going to go back to we had a funny text here of someone using ChatGPT and asking them to write an apology for spitting on someone.
Awesome.
So I guess I got to grab the bad apology. So I've got both.
That's fantastic. Now, I'm with you, SC Stecker. Yep. Mooning had its day.
It did.
Yep.
I mean, the whole scene in Slapshot where they're all protesting the team coming to town, and the bus of the fans drives by all of the other team's fans, and their butts are hanging out the windows of the school bus, mooning them. Funny. Ken Cuiava mooning our buddies in a car going down I-75 in the back of a station wagon, using the window of the wagon to stick his gigantic dumper out and moon. Funny, other than the fact when he did it, his wallet was in his back pocket and disappeared somewhere on I-75.
Oh, no. I was never big into the streaking thing in the 70s, but I liked the mooning.
I liked mooning.
The phase that we went through. Thought it was funny and oftentimes appropriate.
We had my grandfather, where I would go up north. Michigan, you go up north. We would go to our cottage, and after fishing and then cleaning the fish, my grandmother would not let you in the house because you stunk. So we would take the pontoon boat back out, go out of the channel into the Saginaw Bay of what we called Bare Ass Beach, and take a bath in the Saginaw Bay with ivory soap, where my grandfather would drop trow and do a somersault in the water, and he called it the moon dive. It was hysterical. We all did it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Bud Elliott to join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Miller and Moulton have to attend to some things, and so the bonus hour today will be a replay of an hour we did yesterday with Pat Kerwin and Chris Perkins.
Giving you a lot of NFL with Pat, and then obviously centering on the Dolphins with Chris. There aren't a lot of employees around here anymore. We have two people that we've used to help out from time to time, and when both of them say no, we're SOL. Because David would have done the hour for you. I may have even joined in by phone, but it's impossible to do. So for that, we apologize. Let me read you something here, David. You may have heard this already, but I'm going to read a couple of things, and you tell me which one is real. I want to sincerely apologize for my actions in the game this past Saturday. I let down my teammates, coaches, family, and all Gator Nation. Our coaches always instill in us the value of sportsmanship, and I crossed that line. I want to apologize to South Florida. That is not the person or player that I strive to be. I made a terrible mistake, and it won't happen again. There is no to Cole Skinner. There is no excuse for my actions. I'm sorry to you both. Sorry both to you and your family. To my family and friends, I know that my actions did not reflect the way I was raised and regret the disappointment I caused. I take full responsibility. I pray that we can all move forward. Thanks for believing in me, and I won't let you down again. Let me read another one for you. My deepest apology, I want to sincerely apologize for my actions, specifically for spitting on you. What I did was completely unacceptable, disrespectful, and hurtful. There is no excuse for that kind of behavior, and I deeply regret it. I understand that my actions may have caused you pain, anger, or embarrassment, and I take full responsibility. I let my emotions get the better of me, and I failed to treat you with the basic dignity and respect that every person deserves. Please know that I am truly sorry. I am committed to learning from this and making sure it never happens again. If you're open to it, I would appreciate the chance to speak with you and make amends in whatever way makes you feel right to you. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Again, I am deeply sorry. Now, the first one that I read was the actual apology of Brendan Bett, the Florida defensive lineman. The second apology that I read was one that a listener just texted to me. He said, I asked AI to write an apology for spitting on someone. This is what they said. Leading me to believe that that's exactly what Brandon Bett did, because the two sound eerily similar.
Well, there are a few more specifics in the first one, but yes, right. So it was touched up.
Uh-huh.
So are you saying that they went Chat GPT,
yeah,
got the rough outline, and then just edited it accordingly?
Yes, 100%.
It is quite the world we live in these days.
Thanks for that text. On the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line 1-866-9-PELICAN. Residential, commercial, statewide, Jacksonville, Tampa. I'm talking to you. They will come where you are. Pelican Roofing of Florida, proud new sponsor of Miller and Moulton.
I don't like the long apologies. Okay. Like, then, I let down my friends and family. Just stop. Okay. This isn't about your friends and family. It's not. All right. You let down your team. You went a long way to costing your team the game, and you spat on an opponent. Apologize to your team and apologize to the opponent. That's all. No need to bring God into it. No need to bring your friends and family into it. Okay, that's all. That's where, to me, we got it short and simple here. I screwed up. Okay, I let my team down. Okay, very difficult to have to go before them and apologize. I don't know how I'll make it up to them and Coach Napier. And if you want to mention Gator fans, fine. And then the guy from South Florida. That's it.
Yeah, I look at, and I know we all have to issue apologies now. To me, if his statement that he issued was very simple, I really screwed up. I've apologized to my team. I have apologized to the South Florida player personally and called him. To the fans, know that it'll never happen again. Done. Over.
There you go. Because also, the shorter it is, the more, and granted, we're a very cynical society. And at times, it's tough to get more cynical than Miller and or Moulton. Right? But the shorter it is, I think, the more we'd go, so-and-so did that, him or herself.
Right, because right away, the first text that I received after is, you really think he wrote that apology? BS, and I'm a Gator alum. No, I don't think he wrote the apology. That's exactly what we're getting at.
Right.
When you're talking about, there are some 18 to 22-year-olds that are far smarter than Miller and Moulton. There are. And there probably are some that are on football teams. But when you issue those long, lengthy apologies, we don't think that it's you. We think someone else wrote it.
Right. I would be curious, like if I had done that, I would be curious because I would just want to do the really short apology, obviously. But I was sitting here thinking about what is it I would say. And I wonder if I would go to, I've never done that before. And I'll never do it again. Which then leads me to the question, has he done it before? I don't know. But
sometimes you got to get a little hawk too on it, David. That's all I'm saying.
Can we go the rest of the football season, pro and college, without having any more players spit on any more players, please? That's it. That's really now where I'm at with the respective football seasons. I don't care how they play out in terms of wins and losses. I would just like to ask, okay, can we go the rest of the year without a spitting incident?
Over under players spat on between now and the end of the football season, pro and college. If I go a half, where would you go? I almost feel like Lebentard here. Put it on the poll.
Mark, I miss the good old days when we were complaining about the officiating. Okay, man, how long ago was that?
Trust me, we'll certainly have it again by Monday, more than likely.
I hope so. But my goodness. Anyway.
So, Bud Elliott coming up here in a few minutes. We'll start getting ready for week 3 of college. I think the slate's a little better. I'm fired up. Couple of big SEC games. Florida and LSU. Georgia and Tennessee. Tennessee offensively has looked pretty good so far. They haven't played anybody. Georgia's defense, we all know that that's pretty good. And usually you get to Georgia's defense, David, with a mobile quarterback. I'll be curious what Tennessee's able to do against the Dogs.
Hey, at least Tennessee played a real team. They opened the year with Syracuse, right?
No. Yeah.
I mean, Georgia's had a couple scrimmages here.
It hasn't looked good.
I mean, Georgia and Penn State, Kirby and James Franklin were on the phone with each other. Hey, we're thinking about scheduling each other. Nah, man, I think we should go this route. Come to think of it, I think you're right. At least Kirby can say, hey, I got Georgia Tech at the end of the year. I don't need to be scheduling anybody in early September. I'll say, I know I've said this before, but Michigan scheduled 3 cupcakes the year they won the Natty. Ohio State last year scheduled 3 cupcakes and won the Natty. And Penn State has lined up the 3 cupcakes. And man, if they win the Natty, those of us who want good scheduling, we may never see a good game before the 3rd week of September again.
Waiting for both Penn State and Georgia to look like Penn State and Georgia. At least for the Dogs, we'll get a good glimpse of what they look like on Saturday. We're going to have to wait a few weeks on the Nittany Lions. But Elliott, next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Well, I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring. Best service at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
All right, since and David's not here, but it's fine. Since we're not doing it today, I'm gonna have a little fun with a Twitch YouTube version of Today Was the Day When. First ever drunk driving arrest was today in 1897. Which, by the way, for you, Michael, if you're listening, that was in London. The first laws against operating a motor vehicle under the influence went into effect in 1910. In 1936, a doctor patented the drunkometer, the balloon-like device, and in 1953, a former Indiana State Police captain and university professor, worked with that same doctor and invented the breathalyzer. Mike the Headless Chicken was decapitated today in 1945 and lived another 18 months before death. Hurricane-wise, both Donna in 1960 and Irma in 17 both made landfall. Mickey Mantle supposedly hit a 643-foot home run over the right field roof in Detroit. I don't buy it for a minute. I don't. Ali defeats Norton in a split decision today in 73. Kiss released Kiss Alive, done at Cobo in Detroit, by the way, for those caring. Connors beat Borg for the Open. Martina won her first Open. Jeopardy premiered on syndicated TV today in 84. GNR hit number 1 with Sweet Child of Mine today in 88. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air debuted in 90. Smells Like Teen Spirit was released today in 91. The X-Files premiered in 93. Fight Club in 99. I wish David was here for this because Cats closed today on Broadway after nearly 7,500 performances in 2000. And that same day, Bobby Knight was fired. Andy Murray won his first Grand Slam at the Open in 2012. Doing a little, today was a day when, just for you, David, today in 2000, Cats closed after nearly 7,500 performances on Broadway. And in 2018, John Legend, Andrew Lloyd Webber, and Tim Rice win Emmys for the television special Jesus Christ Superstar, making them all EGOT winners.
Very nice.
Bud, you saw Bud's text there, right?
Yep.
Arnold Palmer, Roger Maris, Bob Lanier, and superstar Billy Graham would have had birthdays. Our buddy Gary Danielson has a birthday today. Big Daddy Kane has a birthday today. Begging the question, at what point will Gary Danielson listen to Big Daddy Kane? Hi, bud.
What's going on, guys?
What if he has an Arnold Palmer?
While listening to Big Daddy Kane on his birthday? I like it.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well. You guys doing all right?
How's life? Yeah. How's the family? How's school going for the kids? All right?
They're doing great, man. Yeah. It's been pretty good, you know. Season's been like wild already too, you know. Like
totally.
How y'all doing?
We're doing all right. Okay. We're actually doing pretty good. Show's going all right. I think we told you we added Tampa back a couple of weeks ago, so our reach is a little bit bigger. We've added a couple sponsors, so that's looking promising.
Hell yeah.
Things for the show are looking good through the rest of 2025.
I texted you guys a picture that the day when I was like, hey, I know these guys in the rankings.
Yep.
That's at least our sponsors like to see that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, hey guys, like some days we really, really hit, you know.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Bud Elliott joins us once again. It's tough to go through all that he does. I'll try to do as quickly as I can. 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports, Nolecast, Cover 3 podcast, multiple award-winning podcasts in amongst that group. Follow him on X at Bud Elliott, 2 L's, 2 T's, and the number 3, Bud Elliott 3. So we're 2 weeks in. Have you changed your mind, good or bad, about anyone yet?
Well, I like Florida's upside this year. Obviously need a lot to go right, and they have not had a lot go right so far. They looked like a team that did not really have a lot of practice together in the offseason due to Lagway's injury, and they kind of look sloppy. Napier is kind of a low-margin coach, so I think he is more susceptible at times to things going wrong, and that cost them a game as opposed to a guy who really blows teams out. So I changed my opinion on them some for sure. Alabama, obviously, they don't look very organized on defense at all. Michigan, I think they've really hit on the quarterback, and I just think they their like talent development run that they were on has come to an end in terms of like just beating the recruiting rankings for like a 4 or 5 year stretch. Like they recruited very well, and like their results were so much better than that, right? And now it's just like, all right, yeah, some of their 4 stars miss. That happens. Now their 5 star, the quarterback, I think, is a major hit, but the offensive line and the weapons are not special. And Georgia, I'd be a little concerned. Like that looks like they do miss Carson Beck.
And Carson Beck looks like he can still play, by the way. And we'll,
absolutely.
Look, we put a poll question up the other day about Napier and what lies ahead for him. But my doomsday scenario is they lose the next 2. They lose to LSU. They lose to Miami. Is he for sure going to be the coach for the Texas game if that happens?
I'm trying to think who on staff you would make the interim. Right? I don't know.
We never really took it from that angle, and that's a great point, bud.
Like, would it be Ron Roberts, the D coordinator? He's got a lot of coaching experience. I don't think it would be Callaway, but obviously he was there at UAB. You have some guys on the staff who have been head coaches before, so I guess that does increase the odds that it could happen. That's oftentimes a concern for an AD, right? It's like, okay, yeah, we're tired of having this guy. The fans really want him gone. We kind of have to have some action, but who do we actually go out and hire? And like that's been kind of a lot of times like that. That's why a guy will last the end of the season. If you fire the guy in like week 5, though, it also kind of sets up like open bidding season on all the players, right? It kind of makes them a little more checked out otherwise than they would have been potentially. So I don't know, man. I kind of think they've got a shot this weekend, honestly. But maybe I'm crazy.
Why do you think that they allowed quite a few negative plays against LIU, or I shouldn't say allowed, okay, but had happened to them? And then obviously they scored a whopping 16 points against South Florida. Granted, it's a good defense. I'm curious, what you're probably going to have to score some points to beat LSU. What makes you think they can do that?
Just because I think when they click, they're really good, but they have not clicked so far. But I do think that is potentially like still in there. They did not allow that many pressures on non-blitz downs against USF. So I do think if and LSU is a very, very, very blitz happy team, like they blitz Kate Klubnik like 70% of the time. That was a wild game plan and it worked. I would say like the potential for explosive plays always exists if you're going to face a team that blitzes that much. I think the offensive line for the Gators is still, pretty strong. They were close on a couple plays and like that's not what Florida fans want to hear. And it's not what they should want to hear, honestly. Like against USF, they shouldn't care if you were close on a couple plays. Like the close on a couple plays should be the difference between winning by 20 and winning by 30, right? Not losing the ball game. But Napier also, I think the biggest thing in that game was he cost them the game with his poor game management. I mean, you just cannot be surrendering the ball and surrendering possession of the ball with these silly, not correct punt decisions. If you're playing poker with a bunch of your buddies and you suck and they suck too, your errors don't really cost y'all that much. If you're like making really dumbass errors at a table full of pros, which nowadays a lot of these coaches, they've stopped making a lot of these game management errors. The magnitude of that error and how much it hurts your team is amplified. So how many they gave away, I think, 4 or 5 possessions on incorrect punt and kick decisions? That's like half your drives. Like, what are you doing? That helps keep a game close.
And penalties killed him again. 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties. 12 men on the field gave South Florida another possession. I mean, there was a comedy of errors in that game. Speaking of the Bulls, obviously they've got the Canes this week. We're surprised the number is as big as it is. Are you?
A little bit, just because I'm not really sure what motivation Miami has to blow them out. And Miami was not really a tempo team against Notre Dame. Notre Dame wants to go slow, obviously. I can't imagine Mario Cristobal wants to push tempo against USF, which is a classic like Baylor, Bryles, Tennessee, type tempo offense. So it is hard to get margin on teams like that if you're playing a 10 or 11 possession game. Now, if you end up getting the ball a lot because USF turns it over, certainly. I will say this: if I'm USF, my playoff spot, if I win the American, is locked up. Regardless, I could lose by 100 this weekend. It really won't matter.
Okay,
Because-
now hold on. If I
Yeah.
can just stop you there. Do you think though that because let's just say they're going to lose. It'd be amazing to be a 17.5-point dog 2 weeks in a row and go 2-0. So let's just say they lose this week. Do they have to just win the American, or can they lose 2 games and win the American and be a 10-3 American champion, an 11-2 American champion? Will that get them in?
I think so, because of the fact that the Mountain West looks pretty bad. And because if you win the American, you will have defeated either Memphis or Tulane.
Well,
Which
they
are
play
two,
Memphis regular season, right?
Right, exactly. So, or you beat the teams who beat them. And those are pretty well recognized, like at least top 10 group of 5 teams. Tulane already has the pretty dominant win over Northwestern. Obviously, Tulane has Duke this weekend, and Tulane is actually favored. So that's where I think it is. Having the dominant win over Boise is essentially, to me, a trump card over the Mountain West, right? Like, hey, we smoked your best or second best team. Everybody saw it, right? We killed those guys. Now, they got a little bit lucky to beat them by how much they did, but it was a great effort by the Bulls. We went into the swamp and beat a Florida team that's got a whole bunch of draft picks on it. Were they a mess? Kind of, but still, we got the dub. I think if USF wins the American, they are in.
All right, Tennessee and Georgia. When Georgia, to me, has struggled with Kirby, it's been a quarterback that can run the football and put them in pressure situations. Tennessee doesn't really have that, but we all know their offense does things that others don't. When you look at this game, what's the way that Tennessee wins?
I think Tennessee wins if their defensive line is able to expose Georgia's offensive line. Georgia had some offensive line injuries. They played like a million combos of guys last week. I was trying to go through and watch this game to figure out what happened, that it was a weird rain game and with lightning and stuff too. But I mean, they rotated so many guys. It was you really had to watch who was in there on every play. It wasn't like it was series by series, but still, Tennessee's defensive front is still really nasty. Their linebackers are still really good. They are missing both starting corners. So you saw the Bears on Monday night, like that can actually impact you at times. And Georgia loves their transfer receivers who they took. But so far, Stockton has not really taken advantage of that. So I'm going to say for Georgia, if they block it up enough to where the transfer receivers that Georgia took can take advantage of Tennessee, and then they need Stockton to hit open guys. Like so far, it hasn't really been great. I think they do miss Carson Beck. On the other hand, man, Joey Aguilar has led the nation before in interception percentage, and I'm not high on Syracuse at all. Georgia has typically played this Kirby Smart offense, this Josh Heupel offense extremely well. Mm-hmm. They don't seem to have communications breakdowns. They do a really good job with it. So I still really trust Georgia's defense to shut down Tennessee. My question is how much can Georgia score?
Georgia usually whips Tennessee up front, quite frankly, and that's why they can keep the numbers in the back and do the 3-on-2 combo games and all that. All right. Mark has a preview of the ACC title game, Clemson and Georgia Tech. He's big on Georgia Tech this year. Let's just say Haynes King plays. I think we all think he's going to play. Georgia Tech only 3.5-point dog. Do they have that much of a fighting shot against Clemson?
I'm a little more on Clemson here. I do not think Georgia Tech is very good on defense. I'm not saying they suck, but I don't think that they're anything special on defense. That Colorado offensive line is not really great, and they oftentimes fail to get pressure on the quarterback there. That they haven't covered very well through 2 games in the back end of that defense, but they are scrappy. They play hard. They are really well coached. I think Brent Key is an excellent football coach, and obviously he's got a hell of a staff. Keeping Buster Faulkner there as the offensive coordinator was a major coup for them. I think Haynes King will be back this week, right? They're saying game time decision, all that stuff, but I think he's back, which is obviously huge because they ran him 1,000,000 times against Colorado and will need to run him 1,000,001 against Clemson. For Clemson, their offensive line got exposed against LSU, and I think the Troy game was like a natural hangover type game for them. And we see that happen in college sports. But I think Clemson can probably bounce back here. If they don't, then it's major trouble.
All right. Notre Dame, while losing to Miami, I thought every possession CJ Carr got better. They host A&M. I like what Carr's doing. I think he's going to be really good when it's all said and done. When you look at this game, where do you see A&M having chances?
So I see A&M potentially having chances because I think A&M is in the conversation for the best offensive line in the country. So Miami was able to block the Irish pretty well. I think Notre Dame has a good defensive line. I think they're much better on the edges than they are on the interior. They don't have like a real just war daddy defensive tackle this year, in my opinion. But I do think they have some really nice guys on the edges. A&M's getting Reuben Feathery back. He's their starting left tackle who had missed a couple games. I think that they could like win a defensive slugfest. But to do so, that A&M defense has to play a lot better than they've been playing so far this year, right? They gave up a pretty good number of points, obviously, to UTSA in the opener. Utah State, a lot of it was just kind of trick plays, stuff like that at the end. But ultimately, I think that A&M has a shot in this game because Notre Dame hasn't looked great. But that A&M defense is just it has not been spectacular so far this year, even though I think Elko's a tremendous defensive football coach.
A lot of us didn't regard Oregon as top 5 worthy because we thought, well, come on, they're not going to replace Dylan Gabriel. And they did lose a decent amount off last year's team. Dante Moore looks like he can play. He just is only 2 years into a career where Dylan Gabriel was 6. If Dante Moore is as good as what we hope DJ Lagway is going to be, Oregon can win the Natty, can't they?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, look, they're a blue chip ratio team. Defensively, they look really strong. One of the great mysteries of this season was figuring out which of these quarterbacks we had not really seen before or we had seen very little of was going to emerge. And it's 2 games. And I know there's a lot of easy access throws that the offensive coordinator Will Stein creates. And there are still some big questions about Oregon that are left to be answered. Namely, like, how can their receivers get open against the better defenses that they face?
Right.
And how do they work when the first option is not open? But man, Moore operates that offense extremely well. Like they're a fast physical football team. They had 69 points in Oklahoma State in 3 quarters. They killed those guys. And that it's hard to fake that. I know Oklahoma State's a mess, but it's still hard to score 69 points in 3 quarters, guys. I think they can win it. We had a debate yesterday on CBS Sports Network on Cover 3. Who is the best team in the Big Ten? And most of us are not ready to put them over Ohio State, but I think that they might be there with Penn State.
All right. South Carolina was kind of everybody's darling in the SEC heading into the season. Vanderbilt have a shot on the road against the Gamecocks?
I mean, Vanderbilt went on the road and beat Vatech by 24.
Yeah.
South Carolina needed a kick return to pull away against them on a quote-unquote neutral site that felt pretty friendly to the Gamecocks. I think Vandy's absolutely got a shot. Vandy is sneakily good on long lines of scrimmage. I don't know that South Carolina is. So I think they have a shot.
Got an upset special?
Arkansas. Man,
Whoa!
I didn't see anything special from Ole Miss in that opening weekend. Like Kentucky was able to move the ball against them much more than they probably should have. I think Kentucky's offense flat out sucks, and they were able to move it some. I don't think that I don't think there's a huge difference in these teams. I think Taylor Green is playing exceptionally well. Petrino is calling it super well. Now, again, Arkansas's defense is hot garbage, so we'll see. But I do think Arkansas can score on them, and maybe they come out on top.
Wow, I like it. I like it. Not Central Arkansas against Arkansas State or something like that. Bud Elliott, 24/7, CBS, Nolecast, Cover 3 podcast. Follow him on X at Bud Elliott and the number 3, Bud Elliott 3. Bud, all the best. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for listening to Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local glass doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local glass doctor for
Your
details.
roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tec. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tec. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com. Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. Got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
When you're craving the real taste of Chicago, there's only one name to know. Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you.
This is Miller and Moulton